guys want to turn off your cameras and mute your mics. Coach Radulski here today from Hebron Academy for 8-man practice planning. Coach, appreciate you doing another one here, and you know, taking some time to help out these guys in 8-man. Man, it's awesome.
No, great, and as usual, looking forward to doing it. And as I've told all the coaches that have been on, anything we can do at Hebron, they're more than welcome. As I said, all our game tape, I'm more than to share with you on Huddle, any of the slides, and anything you ever need, you know, just email me, call me, and said I'm more than happy to talk about at least our experiences and what we've done here. But let me put my slides up here.
As he's doing that, if anybody has questions as Coach goes, as long as it's okay with Coach, just flip on your mics and go ahead and ask them.
Yep, you know, I'm fine. Do I hit the share screen first? Or
Yep. Yeah.
Here we go.
Mike, you're actually going to let me talk?
Yeah, man, I'm giving you permission in this one.
Can you see it?
Nope, got nothing yet, Coach.
I got the slides up here.
Tom, I'm getting my daughter to help you out.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, you know, the slides are covering the whole screen. I can't find the share button. Maybe I got to minimize it here. Oh, there we go.
You can, yeah.
I'm getting there.
Looks like it's about to start, Coach. Yep.
The slides
You're on your Huddle screen right now.
Okay, we got Huddle. Good. That's good to know. I'm trying to get my, I got my slides, but I'm somehow not hitting the share button on that. All right, hold on there. All right. So let me take a look at this here. I've got it, you know, I think I've got it.
Are your slides on a PowerPoint or are they part of the Huddle?
Yeah, they're on a PowerPoint here.
If you click that share screen button again, yep.
Is it up?
There you go. You got it, man. There's your slides right there.
Okay, beautiful. Let me enlarge it here a little bit so I can, all right. All right, we're ready to roll. Everybody got the slides?
Awesome, Coach. Go right ahead.
Here we go. We're rolling. Here we go. Talk a little bit about Hebron. I said the private prep school level is a little different than maybe some of the scenarios you're dealing with the public school level. Number one, our roster is very small. This past year, we started with 16 players. And in our league, we have two divisions. We have a northern division, obviously Hebron Academy, Kents Hill, Hyde School here in Maine, and Holderness. Both Hebron, Kents Hill, and Hyde, we averaged probably about 15 to 16 players. Holderness had over 30. We played Pomfret in the championship game, a New England championship game, and they had 35 players, and that's significant. When we started 11-man football, when I got to Hebron 3 years ago, my first roster, we had about 17 players trying to play 11-man. And we made it work. And again, knock on wood, we didn't have injuries. And the big thing is O-line, D-linemen were the biggest issue that we dealt with, having enough. We had Quinn Woods, who Skip recruited to Bates. Quinn was part of that team from 2 years ago. A year ago, before we started 8-man, same thing. We started about 20 players in 11-man, and we didn't make it. We had 8 games scheduled. We ended up canceling 2 games because we had 2 linemen hurt, and we were cooked, you know, at that point. we got away scheme-wise in 11-man. What we did, because we ran out of linemen, we just spread it out. You've seen some of this where we took the offensive tackle positions, put wide receivers in there with lineman numbers. We put them out on the hash mark. So we had a 3-man box, a center, 2 guards, and kind of like a trips thing on the outside. Long story short, we made it work and we got away with it. Without 8-man football, they would have dropped football at Hebron. And the best decision we made administratively was going 8-man. Obviously, we had success. Kids were playing again. It was competitive, a real positive experience going 8-man. It was a great fit for us. And I think Kents Hill and Hyde would tell you the same thing. And the biggest need for us is linemen. And again, the 8-man now having just a center and 2 guards made a world of difference and allowed us to continue playing football. So here's some of the things I'm just going to highlight. And obviously, the main focus is going to be on practice organization. And again, you know, as I just talked about, where we came from 11-man football with 20 players and now going 8-man and working with a roster roughly about 15 to 16 players. And that can work. I think once you get under that, if you're going to be below 15, I think it's going to get close. Even with 15 to 16, you really need to think about what you're doing and creating some versatility to play. You could see the number of private prep schools that have dropped football because they couldn't make it work. Vermont Academy, Kimball Union, Northfield, Mount Herman. And the good news is with 8-man, it's allowed many schools, in addition to Hebron, to continue to play. Offensively, and just really quick in terms of general offense and defensive philosophy, whatever your philosophy was as an 11-man coach, I think you can continue to do that in the 8-man game. And we've seen some clinics already, and I really enjoyed the guy from Kansas talking about what he did offensively. But if you were a spread team, an 11-man, that's certainly an easy transition, as well as if you were power. And I have a couple clips of us offensively. We were an I team with a tight end, times 2 tight ends with the split end. If you were an option team, you certainly can continue to run all those type of things. Obviously, you need to tweak a few things in the 8-man game, but I certainly believe that offensively, you can continue whatever you've done successfully in the 8-man level. Defensively, same philosophy. If you're blitz, load the box up, you can do that. If you want to be more layered to the defense, which we do at Hebron, I spoke about a couple weeks ago, you certainly can do that. For us, and again, I mentioned our coaching staff last time. Coach McDonough is our offensive coordinator and associate head coach. We really work well together. Ed runs our offense, but he's very much involved with everything that we do, defense, the special teams. We break tape down together. We do all those things. And certainly Brad Cummings, who's been a longtime football coach, assistant at Hebron. The 3 of us, again, you have to be over 62 to coach at Hebron, and those 2 guys certainly fit it. And again, I want to thank Ed for putting the slide together for me too. Speaking of IT, we divide up our coaching staff probably similar to what everybody does. I coach the O-line. Ed has all the skill guys, the quarterbacks and the backs, and Brad takes our wide receivers. When we flip it over to defense, I take the linebackers, I coordinate the defense. Ed takes the secondary, and Brad works with our D-line. Couple things, it's really important, especially when you get down into that low-end roster of, for us, that 15 to 16 plays. You really need to start to think about some things. And for us, linemen are the biggest issue. We have plenty of skilled kids, And we came in this year, and I don't think we had any returning linemen from the year before. So going in, for Ed, myself, and Brad, looking at what we needed to do, we needed to develop an O-line and a D-line. And that took a little bit. And the great thing about the 8-man game is size isn't the major component. It's nice to be big in the line. And I've got some clips. We played Hebron or Kents Hill. You know, they had a line that probably averaged 230 or 240 in their center, 2 guard positions in their D line. We were more in that 170 to 160 pound range, which is fine. But you need to think about, you know, how you want to put your run game together with guys that may not have the bulk of some of the teams that you're playing. And the other thing was cross training. Again, we basically had 3 linemen and a couple of backups, but we wanted to make sure our fullback, Austin DaCosta, Austin always knew the backside assignment. So any of our running backs could jump in and play the backside of our offensive line. And what we did at Hebron, when I got there in 11-man, we flipped the line. You know, we had a strong side and a weak side. You know, we had a designated puller. We did some things that allowed us to take advantage of their skill set. But I think cross-training was really important to maintain some depth, you know, in your line play. Same thing, if you can rotate guys through, you know, that was real important to give those guys a blow. We wanted to train 3 centers. You know, we had a center, so all of our linemen in pre-practice worked on shotgun snaps and snaps under center. And that's important. Again, you know, if you got a guy going down, somebody else is going to be able to come in there and snap the ball. One of the things I'm going to jump into, you know, our center play a little bit here. You know, we started out, we're a shotgun snap operation like most teams, and we did a little bit under center. And Ed did a really good job because, you know, he had talked about that, hey, we should take some snaps under center. We practiced a little bit, but mainly we were shotgun snapping in what we did offensively. And we didn't work a lot on it, but we had it. Game 2, early in the year, we played Kents Hill. And, you know, we got down, and I knew we didn't do a good job of our shotgun snaps. And I went back and looked at it. We had 8 plays where our shotgun snap was off completely, where our quarterback scrambling to get the ball, or the ball's off left and right. And I went back, I said, Ed, you're right on. I said, we're going back Monday and we're gonna play under center. And we kind of transitioned more into an I with the quarterback under center. And we still shotgun snap, but we kind of made that transition. And you know, in Maine, and I look at our last game, championship game in the Northern Division against Kents Hill, we know in Maine, you're in the middle of November. We had a howling wind, a muddy field, and we were under center for most of that game because of the way, and we were right on. I don't think we had any missed snaps. Kents Hill was strictly a shotgun operation with the wind and conditions. They had a handful of snaps that they didn't handle well. So, you know, that's what we ended up doing for us is, you know, going under center. And it made us more efficient. We just didn't get it done. Some other things to think about with your old linemen, especially with undersized kids, we found guys that had the physical toughness, maybe not the bulk, but we identified the quickness and the toughness that they had. And as I said, the 3 guys that started for us, you know, were all under 170 pounds. You know, 160 to 170. So we wanted to take advantage of what they did. They were quick off the ball. So we wanted to tweak those schemes. And we ended up with a fair amount of double teams. Our single block and our on block, and we split out. And I got a couple clips of us doing those type of things. Same thing. Small, quick kids. Let's put them in positions where they could be successful. Our quarterback was returning. He was a very good player. We found a hockey kid that came out and became an outstanding running back for us. And all that's fine on the back end. We all know it has to start with your O-line play. And that really was work in progress and things that we really had to think about. Same thing with our D-line play. You saw in my offensive clinic, a lot of slants, a lot of gaps, a lot of movement type things where we didn't line and ask our guys to line up in a two gap or a one gap head up type deal to control the bigger, larger offensive linemen that we saw. So those are things we had to think about and put into play in our O-line and D-line play. But going under center made a world of difference, and it was a good fit for us. Practice organization. Again, working with 15 to 20 players, I was on the college level a long time, and in some of the programs, the bigger programs, we had over 100 players. And practice was different. You can go 2.5 hours. You had to get the work that you needed to. Then I got on the NESCAC level, and Skip knows at places like Bowdoin and Bates and our roster, we would start out with probably 50 to 60 players. By the time we got into mid-season, we're practicing with 40 players, with an offensive squad and a defensive squad. So we started to change how we went about practicing. We know the fine line, you need to be physical. We all know that. You have to have that hardness and that toughness to be able to run the ball, to be able to stop the run, to be able to tackle, and all those things. So you just can't just go out and run plays on bags and all those finesse type things and expect to be good at football. As the great Parcells said, and it's always stood out, there's a point in a game that you're going to need to be able to run the ball when they know you're going to run it. You mean short yardage, goal line situations, and you needed that physicalness. And conversely, defensively, you need to be able to stop that run in those situations, short yardage, goal line. And so, that was our starting point when we think about practice. But at the same point, you need to preserve these guys, to be able to play in the game. We played NCAA college rules in prep school, private school football. Which a couple things helped us in one way. We're allowed to cut block per NCAA rules. And I know in Federation rules, cut blocking is limited. If not, I don't think you can do it at all. So we were able to do that, and we coached it and used it at times where we needed it, whether it was in our line play or our backs blocking the perimeter, and those type of things. At the other end of it, we played 12-minute quarters. And when you have a roster of 15 players, that really became an issue as you got into the fourth quarter. 15 players for us. Our 8 starters played both ways. We probably had 2 or 3 other guys that you could put in and without hurting yourself to a certain degree. The remaining guys were international students that had never played. As I said last time, wouldn't know if the ball stuffed or had air in it. Again, practice organization, the time you committed, and the 12-minute quarters really taxed us. We were able to play 10-minute quarters against Hyde and Kents Hill. And with those numbers in our league meetings, I went back and represented that again and said, we really need to think about 10-minute quarters if you got a roster, in my opinion, under 20 players. So getting back to practice, we usually practice about an hour and a half We found that very efficient, time-wise, working with 15 players to get it all done. And again, it's that fine line. You don't want to go too long in too physical for the idea that you may get hurt, or you're going to gas your guys and they're not going to be ready to play in the football game, either Friday or Saturday. At the same point, you needed to develop, the hardness, the conditioning level, and all the things that you can execute and win in a football game. We start practice with specialists, and that's really important. Our coaching staff, we divide up. We spend time teaching long and short snappers. One thing we don't do at Hebron in an 8-man football, we don't kick extra points or field goals. Holderness tried to do it. They actually kicked an extra point, missed, or had a penalty. They did it again, and we blocked it. I think one of the things about trying to kick extra points or field goals, there's just not enough players across to get the edge geometrically. So typically all the tape that the opponents we played, nobody kicked field goals and extra points. So certainly we didn't work on that. But punting, snapping were things that we worked on every day, starting our practice. After that, I'd blow the whistle. We'd go through a dynamic stretch. I'm not a big stretch guy. That would take us 5 minutes to get through practice. We'd blow the whistle. And the first thing we did, again, per Coach McDonough, we went back and we did an old-fashioned cadence drill, which I hadn't done in years. And I thought that was very beneficial in helping us, as basic as that is. And as the year went on, we were able to change up our cadence, which really helped us offensively, especially in our run game. So guys just didn't tee off. So we went through a quick cadence drill. Then we moved right into, for us, one-on-one pass routes. So our O-line went with Coach Cummings. They did some review. Ed and I took the skill guys. I took the guys defensively. Ed took the quarterbacks, and we just rotated. We just went 2 lines, just an old-fashioned one-on-one man coverage drill, and they all rotated through. As again, you saw in my defensive clinic, 90% of the time we played man-to-man. Most of it man safety free. We were trying to funnel the ball back into the middle of the field or into the short hook zone. So that was really important. We got great work done in teaching off man-to-man skills. We did a little bit of press, which we didn't use a lot. And at the same point, we were getting great work done offensively. We were running our route tree. Our quarterback was getting work. And everybody went through that drill work. And we did that 10 minutes a day. So right out of the gate, specialist, stretch, cadence, right into one-on-one pass routes up and down the field. Then next thing, and this is the Tubby Raymond wing tee, my background, everybody did shoulder skills. We didn't have as many of the big wing tee heavy bags. A lot of people put those in the mothballs. I'm a firm believer in those. So at that point, Ed's got the quarterback working mechanics, and everybody learns how to block. We line up as many bags as we can. We take them through a wing tee shoulder progression. I didn't get a chance to see Coach Rodsko's whole line stuff, but my guess is that some of those shoulder skill works, techniques that he probably did. And we're teaching guys to come off low and hard. And I'm not going to take you through the whole wing tee shoulder progression. And, we're learning how to block with our shoulders, right shoulder, left shoulder, down the line, right shoulder, right 5 yards, turning them. And to be able to drive those heavy bags, you need to keep a base. So all the things you get off of the board work through other traditions, you're getting that type of work. You're getting a flat back. You're getting the shoulder surface. And they're learning how to maintain a balanced blocking position. So everybody does that. We get a lot of reps out of that. And so everybody learns how to block. And Coach McDonough is working with the quarterbacks. Then we divide up. At that point, wideouts are going with Coach Cummings. They're working stock block. I do some live one-on-one drive block. It's not 100% knock them flat on the ground. It's more thud work. So now what we'll do is now we'll get live work. We'll do a drive block. An old Oklahoma drill. You get your hand down, and you're going to come off the ball and get some vertical contact. It's a 95%. We're getting full contact. There's got to be noise. There's got to be collisioning. There's got to be leg drive. We block to the whistle. We just don't pancake our guys down, which we would do in a live game situation. So that's where we're starting to get that physical work, that hardness that's going to prepare us, for game action in the run game. Then obviously we're progressing like everybody else into scheme. At that point with the O-line, I'm reviewing. Offensively, I said we evolved into an I team. We're a man block. We run the dive play, which got a couple clips. We run the ISO with double team lead. We run a down power, so we get a lot of double team work. We ran some guard trap with mixed success. That's a favorite play of myself and Coach McDonough, and we want to get better at those type of things. So we're doing scheme work. I'll take some time in our individual. I'll do some pass protection work. I don't do a lot. A lot of our pass game is heavy play action. So off of all of our runs, especially off of our ISO and power plays, we're blocking those plays just like the run. If we got a double team, we're double teaming that down guy into the linebacker level. So we're not worried about getting downfield, and half these guys aren't going to call a lineman being downfield anyways. So it's easy to transition for all of our run plays. There's a play action component, so the scheme remains the same. We do in our drop back, in our sprint out, we turn back, protect. So all we do is we turn our line back and they block a gap with zone protection. Real easy. And then our back blocks outside of the turn back protection. And so we've got a 4-man protection. We're blocking gap zone, whatever blitz or twist you have. We feel comfortable handling those. And I go over those twists and things that we see, but we don't spend a lot of time. Again, we're a run, play action oriented team, trying to stay out of those long yardage situations. And then we evolve again. We don't, with 15 players, to go a full Pascal would be difficult. So we transition into a half-line Pascal where we do, besides the eye with the tight end split end, we do spread out where we'll have twins on one side, wide out on the other with a back in the backfield. So we'll run 2-man patterns to one side. We'll put a defense out there playing the techniques we're going to see that week, whether it's pure man safety free zone. So we get our work done offensively, and then we flip it around and we get it done defensively. Then once we've got our pass game done, we transition into team run and play action. And at times we've done this half line. Typically what we do during this drill is we've got enough people to hold bags, at least for the frontage. You know, most teams are playing some type of 3-2 look or 4-2 look. So I've got enough extra guys that can hold bags. Our manager will jump in. Coach Cummings will play linebacker. Ed will run the offense. He'll get them huddled up on the line. I spend time with the defensive look to make sure those guys are aligned correctly, how to hold a bag, how to keep it firm. So when I say bags, this isn't a walk through, half speed, step into and point, fit in. We want these guys coming off with speed, flat back, leverage into those bags. So we're getting, the crispness and the full speed work that we need to do. And that's not easy. I spend most of my time yelling at those guys and holding the bag. And I flip my bag guys around. I know if Ed's running ISO or power right, I get my bigger guys, few I do have left, to hold bags to get on that side to make sure we got a firm look. And when we come up, and I got this from the wing tee, when we come up to the line, our old line will point. And for example, if we're double teaming the nose and we're running ISO or power to the right, our center and right guard will come up and they'll point to the bag hold and say, we're doubling you. And so he'll turn his bag and hold it firm and low, to try to hold his ground so we can get full speed on the double team. Same thing, if we're going to run a guard trap, the puller will point across and let the bag holder know he's going to pull and come across with speed to trap. And I know that too, and I alert those guys. Just anything we can do to get full speed work in preparation without killing ourselves. So that's a big part of, in terms of what we do. So the half line and then the full team with the bag holders, offensively. And like everything else, we try to get as many plays run. We rotate guys around. And again, creating as much depth as possible. Our backup tailback has to know fullback. Our fullback knows the backside of the offensive line. We have a tight end that can jump inside. Our split end knows how to play tight end. So we're always rotating guys through to provide depth at those positions without having a lot of guys. At the same point, you have to keep your scheme simple. You can't be running a lot of schemes. We don't. As I said, we're a dive, ISO, power, turn back, ISO pass, waggle type of offense. And we rep those things out. So typically in a practice, we go through all three phases. Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll spend a little more time offensively in our hour and a half practice. Then we'll flip it into our kicking game halfway through. We take a lot of water breaks. We ask our guys to practice hard, play hard. Then we give them a water break. And then we transition into our kicking game. And at that point, punt, obviously, punt return, kickoff, return. And like anything else, we spend a lot of time punting. That's the highest percentage special team phase that's used, along with punt return. Again, same thing, field goal, extra point block has now been eliminated because we don't do that in 8-man football. One of the things we evolved to in our punt game, we don't do anything different. Our punt protection is a man scheme. The center guard box, two tight ends, a wing, a protector, and a punter. And our line just points out guys on or outside that they're going to block. And then our backs pick up the remaining guy. So we don't do anything really sophisticated in the punt game, but we do rep it out all the time. We were a return team, and the punt return, when we changed that, we became more of a punt rush team. Typically, in the punt game, most teams don't have a good punter. We see a little bit of rugby. We just see kicks all over the place. From shanks to, squibs and bouncing. So we kind of changed our philosophy, became more of a punt rush type of operation, which was really helpful. And, we would study punt protections, typical overloads to one side, some twists, and became very effective in our holderness game that we won. We had 3 punt blocks, which were critical. That's how we evolved from that end of it. Just because of the nature, we're just not getting kicks that allow us to do a punt return. So that's where we're at with the kicking game. Another water break. I usually got to go into the woods to do a number one at my age. They're taking a water break, blow the whistle, and we go to defense. The first thing that we do that's a big part, and a lot of the 8-man guys have talked about it, some of the differences in the game, even with the smaller field, with 8 players, there's a lot of room and there's a lot of open space that has to be factored in. And we know pursuit and open field tackling are important in any defense, 11-man or 8-man, but even more so in pursuit to minimize all these long runs and passes has to take place. So we spend a lot of time with pursuit. It serves as conditioning, which is great, but we have a lot of players that are new to defense and new to football, and understanding taking the proper angle to get to the ball carrier, to minimize these long runs. We spend a lot of time on that. I did as a college defensive coordinator. And, basically, we talk about leveraging or vicing the ball. If you're an outside-in defender, a corner, an outside linebacker, everything you're doing is vicing the ball back to the inside, keeping it on your inside shoulder. We're not looking to make the tackle. We're looking to vice and constrict the ball. If you're an inside-out defender, a middle linebacker, a defensive tackle, and you're coming inside out, you're looking to keep the ball on your outside shoulder. So we form a vice, a net, constricting the ball, okay, and allow us to put ourselves in a better tackling position. As a longtime defensive coordinator on the college level, I found out if you're in the open field and there's a lot of space, generally you're not a good tackler. Once you can constrict that ball carrier and you're coming at different angles, you've got a better chance of getting the ball carrier down on the ground. Even before we talk about tackling, vicing that ball and constricting it, especially in the open field in the 8-man game, is critical. Our goal, and it's a very old philosophy, and we still believe in it, is we want to prevent the long run and the long pass. And to do that, again, speed, conditioning, taking a proper pursuit angle, and vicing that ball are critical components before you actually get into the tackling phase. If we're going to get beat, if you're going to score on Hebron Academy, okay, you're going to have to march down the field and earn every single play. And that's, how I've done it a long time. Skip can tell you the many battles we've had with Bates at Bowdoin. There was a style of defense. It was a bloodbath, okay? You lined up, and there are times we'd be on an 18-play drive against us. But we know in the game of football, there's a high chance that the offense is not going to execute 100% all the way down the field, that we can create the turnover, get a fumble, get a tip pass to get us moving in the other direction. So no easy scores. But to do that, again, requires great pursuit angles, improper tackling, and there's a condition element to this, which I'm going to talk about a little bit. Okay, so, and we have a number of pursuit drills. You've all done a lot of them. One of my favorites, we call it, if we got enough guys, I think we do it now with 3 men, but on the college level, we would get lined, we have 5 players up, lines of 5, and 5 guys would be up on the goal line. I'm running the drill, so they're spaced apart. They're just shuffling, doing up downs, and we put 4 big bags back in the remainder of the field, anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 yards away, all in different spots. So the 5 defenders that I'm working in some type of shuffle up, down, are looking at me. Then I set them off. I'll point, they turn and run. So it's 5 guys, and now they've got to tackle the 4 stand-up dummies. So the guy that doesn't get there has to do 10 up-downs or push-ups or whatever we have to do. So what we're doing is we're teaching our guys how to play with high intensity, how to come across the field, how to compete. And it's 100% drill. If you're going to go 98%, you're doing up-downs. You can put the bags on the side to create some competition. You know, same thing. 5 guys going to 4 bags on the sideline. Obviously, we incorporate tackling skills. They've got to go through and execute a proper shoulder tackle. And it's a lot of fun. We move those bags around. There's numerous pursuit drills, and we try to vary them. And I'm not going to take you through all those. Those are some of my favorites. But that needs to be done. You're building intensity. You're building conditioning. You're building all those things. And it's great hearing some of the college coaches talking some of these clinics, and enjoyed Coach Nagy's clinic the other day. A football play, and I tell our guys, averages around 6 seconds, you know, sometimes a little more, a little less. And so we tell our guys, play the interval at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Okay, so when you're off, when that ball snapped, you go 6 seconds like it's never, like you shot out of a cannon. You play a high intensity. We want everybody to swarm at full speed. The whistle blows. You're done. Relax. Get yourself back. We don't huddle up. Get yourself back to your area of alignment and get ready for the next play. And so that's the mentality we try to teach our guys. Play the interval. Get aligned. Get your proper alignment. Get your eyes where they need to be. Ball goes off, you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. And we grade that, but we have to build that. And you build that through all your work you do in practice. And obviously that pursuit drill is part of that. And I'm going to meander a little bit. On the college level, as a longtime defensive coordinator, we grade 3 things that we think are important to defensive football. Number 1, pursuit. Okay, are you going 1,000,000 miles an hour? Whether you're at the point of attack, you're the backside corner taking the far angle across the field to prevent the touchdown, wherever it may be, that you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. If there's a change of speed, that's a critical one. Skip can tell you about that, and a lot of you guys, all of a sudden you're seeing a guy kind of going, the play breaks, and all of a sudden he picks his speed up and goes full speed. That's a loaf. So your pursuit grade, you either get a check that you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in our evaluation, or you get a loaf. If you get a loaf, you're running. The next thing we grade is tackling. Missed tackle, assisted tackle, solo tackle. So if you're in a tackling situation and you're expected to make, and if you make the play, you get a check for making the solo tackle. At times you can be factored in with pursuit as and get an assisted tackle. Again, we want a lot of that to swarm the football. A missed tackle. You're in a tackling situation, you whiff. Your eyes are down, you go to the ground, the guy jukes you, you get an MT, missed tackle. Okay, that's not good. The last thing we grade is, we call it KD, knockdown. If you're on the ground, you don't play defense on the ground. So if you're coming across the field, you get tripped up, you get cut, you fall down, you leave your feet, you get a knockdown. Okay, and you can't play defense on the ground. So in my opinion, no matter what scheme you run, if you can incorporate those three things, pursuit, tackling, and staying on your feet, you got a high chance of playing pretty good defense. So I got off a little bit here, but I wanted to talk about that, how we got into pursuit. I'm getting fired up here a little bit, ready to get myself going here. So pursuit, tackling, okay? And again, we have, at the prep school level, I have some PGs, older guys that should be college freshmen, all the way down to high school freshmen that have never played football. So we take all our guys through a tackling progression. We work on, a typical tackle fit. We walk in, we put them in positions for a profile tackle. Everything we do tackling, we have two types of tackles. A profile tackle, which is your typical low to high chest tackle, all the way up and through with an arm wrap to bring the ball carrier down. And then we use a low tackle, the Pete Carroll hawk rugby type tackling. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, where we shoulder tackle through the thigh board, wrap an alligator to bring the ball carrier down. So we bring them through a tackling progression. We do a lot of tackling work on the tall bags to make sure they're using proper technique, using a profile tackle or the rugby type tackle. We don't have a mat. We'll lay agile bags down, and now we'll do a live angle tackle where we'll come through, and all our tackling is done with the shoulder chest area with the eyes up, and it's alive. We bring the ball carrier down the sideline. And so now this is a full contact. You'll take the running back onto the mats. And I found that over the years to be great. In the old days, we used to do live tackle and bring the guy down to the ground. Nobody likes hitting the ground. You're susceptible to injury. So we're getting live work done. While bringing those guys down on the pads. And if you got the wrestling mat or those high jump mats, you can do those things. The next thing we do, we spend a lot of time on open field tackling. And the big drill we use, we just set up a box of about 10 yards, 10 by 10, maybe a little bit wider. And we two lines. We've got a line of tacklers. We start the ball carrier at one corner with a ball. He comes into the box. We bring the tackler from the other end. He comes into the box, transitions from a moving to a shimmy breakdown type position. And initially we tell the ball carrier he has to stay in the box and he can only use one move. So he'll come through and make a cutback, or he'll continue going, and tackle will now execute an open field tackle. In the open field tackling technique, again, we're driving the shoulder through the thigh board with the arm wrap to bring the ball carrier down. with the alligator wrap and to get them to the ground. And I've got some clips of that. And I'm watching my time here. Last time I did this, I went an hour and a half, and I think guys got tired of me, so I want to keep this going here. But this is a big drill, and we do this live. We found out in the open field tackling, the chances of injury very slim, because again, you're not getting that direct vertical knockout contact. You're getting more of a balance, shimmy, react, don't allow the ball carrier to cut back and get your shoulder into that thigh board and get them down on the ground. Again, this is an everyday drill. We do it all the time, and it's been a big part of our success in the open field. Chip Kelly, most of you guys know. Chip's a New Hampshire guy that played when I coached there, and we coached together at Columbia in some different places. And I had a chance to see him before he got the UCLA job. And I think the thing that we know, Chip's an excellent coach. His record speaks for himself. And the great thing about him is his knowledge of the whole game, besides being an offensive guru, whatever that stuff he does, his understanding of special teams and defense. So we're talking, and they do in their 7-on-7 pass skeleton, that's a live drill. They've gone through in a college game with the spread stuff, all that, come to balance, tag off. Now they get into a game, their defenders weren't very good in the open field. And he said what they do, not all the time, but on a fairly regular basis, is an open in Pascal. It's a live drill, and defenders have to make an open field tackle to get the pass receiver down into the ground. I thought that was interesting. And I said, what about injury? It's open field. The close vertical profile tackling stuff you don't get. That you get in the inside drill and all that. So I thought that was interesting, and I agree with that. The rest of our defense, obviously, very similar to everybody else. We go into individual work by position for the fundamentals of those. Then we get into group work. I'll take the D-line. Brad, Coach Cummings with the D-line, linebackers. We get together and we work versus the inside run plays we're going to see that week. Your dives, zones, traps. At that point, Ed's working with the secondary. Then we change up. I'll come with Ed, and we'll do half-line Pascal, man-to-man, zone-type work. Then we'll bring the team together. And what we do, and I don't have it here on the slide, we do formation recognition. So what Ed will do, I'll have the whole defense. Ed and Brad will take the remaining guys, and they'll come out in the different formations that we're going to see. And we just work on alignment, keys, communications. We'll have them come off a step or two so everybody gets an initial reaction. And again, it's tough to get 8-on-8 live thud work. Again, usually we don't have 8 that are giving us looks. We'll use the trash barrels or bags. If we don't have enough guys, we'll put them in the line. So we do a lot of formation recognition work. We will run perimeter plays. So if it's a toss play or whatever, we'll run those. Angles, leveraging the ball, come to balance. It's not a live drill, just so we can get some recognition and some reactions to the plays we're going to see that week. And then that's been helpful. And then something that we added, that great idea by Ed, we end our defense with a live 3-on-3 drill. Some of us have done it, on a college or high school level. We set up an alley of agile bags of about 10 yards. We start out with 3 blockers. We have 3 defenders, and we have a running back. And it's 10 yards. You have 3 downs to get a first down. This is live. It's competitive, and you got to get off the block and make the tackle. And so this is great. And obviously, we match it up. So when I get the line together, I'll match up our best lineman. Our center may go against our right guard. We'll put a fullback in at right guard just so we get good matchups. And this is live. We come off the football, full blast, looking to, pancake guys. We're looking to shed guys on the defensive side and make the tackle and compete. Defense obviously wants to prevent them from getting a first down. And offensively, we want to get a first down. It's competitive. It's live, and for us, it was as big as anything to make us game ready to win a football game. It allowed us to compete, to cut it loose, because everything else we're doing in practice is either non-contact or 90% contact, and it was a great way to end our practice, at least the defensive end of it. And then we ended off with conditioning. As you can imagine, 15 guys, playing in a 12-minute quarters and practice for an hour and a half. They're getting good work done. But, we're an old school guy. We have a big hill on the side of Hebron. We run hills. We'll run sprints, typical conditioning stuff. I think one of the things that are important, and this isn't a trade secret, we know at the end of a game, having that conditioning edge is critical. And for us, our success at Hebron, no question, having that conditioning level at the end of the game was a big factor in us winning football games. The other thing, I'm thinking out loud. There's some things that we do to control the pace of the game. I told Coach Hathaway I coach basketball. I know he does. And I'll use some basketball analogies. I use timeouts like you do in basketball. When we're playing a team that's got 30 or 35 guys, and you're on offense, we're on defense, and you're marching down the field, and you get into the red zone, a goal line, in a critical situation, I'll call a timeout to stop the momentum, to get us over, to get a water break, to get recharged mentally in a critical situation, whether it's a goal line, a 4th down play, something for us to recharge it, to get a drink, to come back. And especially early in the year when the weather's hot or whatever. And I'll use them offensively. If I see us dragging or whatever or something, timeout, come over and get a drink and ready to go. So use of timeouts in a basketball style is very helpful. The other thing we do is we control the pace of the game. I get it. I know Chip Kelly. Get up, run as many plays, no huddle, get on the line of scrimmage. Let's get as many plays run as we can. I've done the opposite. Many years ago, I used to watch Army and Navy, the wishbone teams when they played Notre Dame or Alabama and those type of things. And I'll use the basketball analogy, take the air out of the ball. We may get into a situation We just want to slow it down. So Ed will talk to our quarterback, Jack Kelly, and I usually tell the officials, we know that umpire will put his hand up. We don't have a play clock like the college level, so we don't know how much time's left. He'll usually put his hands up with either 10 seconds or 5 seconds left. So what our quarterback will do, we'll tell him, slow it up. We're going to take the air out of the ball. We'll come up to the line. We'll tell the O-line, easy, easy. Just rest your hands on your knees. We're going to wait. Use that whole play clock up. Okay, give us a rest. Hopefully we've got a lead. The hand goes up. Jack gets him down, and we're ready to play. So we're going to cut the game down. Okay, we're going to slow these guys down, and that's been helpful to be able to use that type of situation to help us win football games. Okay, let me, I'm going to put a couple clips on here. I'm going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to be done in 5 minutes here. All right. I don't know if I can get this on here. I got to share the screen again, right?
Be able to share, hit share, coach, and then click on your huddle tab.
Yeah. I'm getting to this. I had a different screen here, but I'm adjusting.
Got it. In-game
Everybody
adjustment.
got
Right?
it? Everybody's up here. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we got you, coach.
Good, beautiful. All right. All right, here we are. Okay. Head coach on the college level. This is me, Coach Radulski. This is Coach McDonough. Right here. We do it all. I got to bring the ball bag down. I got to make sure the kicking tee's in there. Coach is getting us ready to go. The other thing I do, I don't drive the yellow school bus, but we have these minivans, the short buses, if you know what I mean. Me and Brad drive the team. If we're playing Hyde or Kents Hill, he takes a minibus, I take a minibus. We drive the team to the game. So that's where I'm at now, driving one of those coach buses. And okay. Let me, I just want to go back to that clip. Okay, count them up over here. Okay, Brad's probably coming down from class down that hill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 15 guys out there. Okay, so those are our guys. All right, take a look over here. There's 35 guys over here. We don't care. Put the ball down. They can only put 8 out, and we got 8, and we got a great plan. 35 guys. All right, here's just a couple clips here, just some tackling. Okay, this is our safety that had to move up to play middle linebacker. Middle linebacker's out. Our safety jumps up to play middle linebacker. Our quarterback, Jack Kelly, is back at free safety. 150 pounds. This is a PG lacrosse player from Holderness. Okay, 19-year-old. Okay, oh, here's the running back right here. Same thing. We got some space here. Does a nice job of driving his shoulder through the thigh board. Wraps, brings him down. The other thing, and it's great, and we work on all these drills. We were fortunate to get some guys using the great parcels. You know, you want to get a dog that bites. Okay, if the dog don't bite, it's tough to teach them. So we got some dogs that can bite. Same thing. Mike, this is Coach Hathaway. This is Connor DaCosta, probably a good 150 pounds soaking wet. Okay. Same thing. Nice job. going down. This isn't a great view here. You see him going down, right shoulder tackle through the thigh board, taking him out. We're grading pursuit here. Okay, watch the three linemen. Okay, run to the football. This is a loaf right here on 30. Okay, we want all 8 guys around the football. Same thing, we take away the point of attack. We get the ball to travel horizontal. Nice tackling form, okay, by our corner. Same thing, right shoulder through the thigh board. It's important to get that wrap. Eyes up. Even with this low tackling, you want your eyes up. You don't want to duck. Good job. This is a profile tackle. This is your traditional. This is Austin DaCosta, a veteran for us, really our best tackler. So the 2 types of tackling we're teaching, you see him now coming in now. Instead of putting the shoulder through the thigh board, he's going to drive his shoulder through the chest, up and through wrap, and take him down on the ground. Profile, high tackle, as opposed to the low tackle through the chessboard. Same thing. Nice tackle by Connor on the outside. We're in open space. I like our pursuit angles. Again, 30 needs a little more work. Look at those defensive linemen running, swarming the ball. Put your pursuit drill together. Okay, we want 8 green shirts around the football. Nice open field tackle. Again, Coach Hathaway, I don't know what you guys did in that middle school program, but those 2 DaCosta guys knew how to tackle. Those dogs could bite.
Coach, we'd gladly take those guys back if you don't need them.
Okay, nice open field tackle here when man-to-man coverage. So same thing, look at the open space. Okay, nice form. Maybe goes a little low early, but gets him down. Same thing, this has been a feature in 8-man football, the quarterback scramble. Same thing, nice open field tackle by 30. And again, this guy's a lacrosse PG at Holderness, probably 190. Great open field tackle. And I love this, okay? This is why still coach brings tears to my eyes. Watch this kid 80-yard back on nose guard. Watch this cat run to the football right here. Okay, so if we do miss and we're leveraging the ball the right way, we're going to have guys around that ball. There's your nose guard. There's your defensive end. There's your backside defensive end, 30 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Right. My last clip, let me split this over. Just a couple things old line wise. I said we evolved into an I team. And said you can see, we're playing with a tight end, we're playing with a split. And that's just the way we went under center, which really, for our particular, made a world of difference. 165-pound left guard, 170-pound center, probably 180-pound right guard, nose guard, 240, 230, 240. As basic as plays a dive, was as good a play for us. We had a quick fullback. What we wanted to do was split it out. We're seeing this 3-2 look, and we're just going to block straight ahead. We're going to pick our hand up, come off the ball as fast as we can, and battle it to the whistle. So center's going to block on. Left guard should take a split out a little bit wider, get that end to remove. He's going to go straight ahead for the linebacker. Right guard straight ahead for the walked up linebacker. We're going to leave the end alone. Let the fullback hit it. Get us 4 yards. Take that. Again, if you got quick kids and tough kids, love the center here. Got that kid all fired up at 170 pounds going against this 240-pound hockey kid. Take advantage, split them out. I said, you know, we're an international group. This is our Mexican guy. We got a French Canadian. So if you come down to practice, beside my Boston accent, we've got 2 French Canadian guys. So we've got a lot of French being spoken and a lot of Spanish taking place. So Jack talking about our Mexican guys. Same thing, die play. As big a play as any. Simple as that. Middle of November, it's windy, we're under center. Take those splits out. Pick your hand up, come off the football. Get us 4 yards. Move the chains. There's power. And power and ISO were similar plays for us, meaning we've got 4 or 5 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're running the ISO with the double team, and we run power where we just switch the assignment up. We put that up. I'm going to show you an example. Power, he's going to block gap down inside on the back. Our fullback's going to kick out. Play side guard center, double the nose, block the backside here. We like double teams. You can see the center right guard double team. They're double teaming to the backside backer. We're putting our tight end, gap down backer on the inside backer, a nice block by our fullback. A tough French Canadian hockey play. That's why we're in the I formation here. This cat run. Establish a physical dominance. Same thing, the ISO play now. We've got 5 blockers. And now the only difference here is our tight end's going to block on, and the fullback's now going to block the ISO on the play side backer. Same play, just different guys doing it differently. We like the double team on the big nose man. Tight end gets in the way, block to the whistle. If you would have told me in August, without a no line, watch the center and right guard, the point of attack, put that guy in the end zone. ISO again, under center, double, lead. Nice story, tailback. We didn't know these kids till the season got going, and we're learning. Coach McDonough's in the locker room before one of our games, and he's got his headsets on. He's looking at his phone. Coach goes, Will, what are you doing? He goes, I'm watching highlights. He's watching cut-ups of Marshawn Lynch from the Seattle Seahawks running the ISO play. How about that, getting yourself ready for a football game with it? And that certainly showed in his play there. But that's what I have, boys. That's what we do. If there's any questions here.
Yeah, if you guys want to turn on your mics and cameras and come on and get some questions in with Coach before we let him go, come on in.
Nice job, Rip.
Yeah, nice
Thanks,
job,
Coach.
Well done.
Very well done.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. As I said, anything anything that we have, you're certainly more than welcome to do it. And, you know, and again, it's evolving, you know. I think practice organizations is such a critical thing because, you know, it's your plan to win a football game, and it's a plan to get your kids ready to play football, both mentally and physically. You really, you know, you really need to think about. And that's as big as any areas. Became an older coach. I always asked coaches that I would visit, you know, how they practice, how they go about doing things. How can you be physical without banging your guys and putting them out, and, you know, and all those things. So,
Hey, Tom, I got one question for you. Tom, it's John.
go ahead, John. I hear you.
What's your play man-to-man against the tight end? What's your alignment to the defensive back against the tight end?
Typically, what we would do if we have, for example, against our set, if we got an I formation with a tight end weak and a split end, our weak corner will have the tight end man-to-man because we're playing the outside backer on the outside of the tight end.
Yeah.
I'll play him head up at about 4 to 5 yards, keying him for run pass. So, you know, again, if he releases, you know, he's going to back out. If he blocks down or blocks out, then, you know, he's going to fill the run.
Thanks.
Yep.
Coach Collins, Coach Solomon, you guys got anything?
I'm good.
No, great. Excellent,
Coach,
Di.
I'm good, thank you.
Can I borrow those DeCosta boys back on Friday nights and just get back to you on Saturday?
Yeah, you know, and,
Loaded Hathaway. I don't want to hear it. Jesus.
yeah. They're,
Tell me Danny to get off freaking mute so I can talk to the son of a bitch.
Oh, you're on mute.
Bro.
I mean, you're unmuted. You want your video on?
Yeah, I want to see that ugly mug.
You back on here.
Skip,
you go.
you must be heading over to happy hour right now.
Right there, 2 steps away.
2 steps away. I'm behind you a little bit. I'm behind you, but I'm not far, as you know.
Oh, I know.
Hey, listen, I went to Walmart. It took me forever to get in the other day. I picked up some Fresca.
Coach, I got some in the fridge right now.
I know.
I'm making one before Coach Sarasolo comes on.
Yeah, that's a good time. Good halftime break here.
Absolutely.
With
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Good luck. Thanks,
Thanks.
Coach Hathaway.
Let's stay in
Thanks,
touch,
Coach.
man.
Okay,
Thank you, Coach.
When you're driving through the Hebron, you know the deck's always open.
you know that.
Love you, brother. See you, John.
Thank you.
man.
Greg.
See
See
you.
you guys.
See you in about half an hour. Later, guys.